best way to approach Berwick-upon-Tweed, one of the finest fortified towns in Britain, is by train from the south. The climax is the Royal Border Bridge, opened by Queen Victoria on 29th of August 1850, a 28-arch viaduct spanning the river, the last link in the route between London and Edinburgh. The disputed border between England and Scotland was the River Tweed, putting Berwick on the Scottish side of the river. Repeatedly besieged, it changed hands 13 times, and much of the town's architecture, its walls, barracks, and Edward I's 13th century castle, partly demolished by the coming of the railway, all reflect the town's character. There are two road bridges into Berwick. The most recent, the Royal Tweed Bridge from 1928, replacing the 17th century Berwick Bridge with its 15 arches, a wonderful structure for the camera and best photographed from Tweedmouth across the river with Berwick town in the background. Much of the massive Elizabethan walls can be walked, and I found quay walls facing the river of particular interest, especially its Georgian houses. Because of its position at the mouth of the Tweed, its defences were kept in readiness from medieval times to the 19th century, and the 18th century barracks and bastion fortifications still dominate the town and can be explored. Nearby is Holy Trinity Church, a rare example of a church built under Cromwell, but much altered later. The interior can be dark, therefore a challenge for the photographer, requiring a shutter speed of a 15th of a second at 200 ISO, and my widest available aperture was factor 3.5. These images were taken before COVID with the EM1, the Mark I version, and the 12-50 lens, all handheld. I saved to RAW and adjusted images in Adobe Lightroom, therefore setting white balance to cloudy wasn't really necessary. I spot metered but didn't change the exposure bias. I stayed at Berwick for several days. It is easy to reach Newcastle-upon-Tyne and Edinburgh by train, and the bus service permitted trips to the Cheviots and Melrose in Scotland. I have already featured these places in other programmes.